Sundarkandam Sarga 9 Navam Sargah Antapurvarnam Scenes in the inner apartments. तस्यालय वरिष्ठस्य मध्ये विपुलमायतं ददश भवन श्रेष्ठम हनुमान मारुतात्मजः. Inside, in the middle of the exceptional Pushpaka Vimana, Maruti saw a nice spacious palace. अर्धयोजन विस्तीर्णमायतं योजनम् इतत् भवनं राक्षसेन्द्रस्य बहुप्रासाद संकुलम्. The palace was Ravana's residence, 1 yojana long and half yojana idea in area, and looked matchless with many prodigiously decorated mansions. मार्गमानस्तु वेदेहि सीतामायद्लोचनां सर्वतः परिचक्राम हनुमान रिसूदनः. Hanuman, the one capable of vanquishing any opponents, wandered inside that palace in search of the exalted Sita, the foster daughter treasured by Janaka, and the one with attractive eyes extending almost to the ears. उत्तमं राक्षसावासं हनुमानवलोकयन् आससादात् लक्ष्मीवान् राक्षसेन्द्रनिवेशनम्. चतुर्विशानेस्तत्विरेतस्त्रिविशानेस्तथैव च परिक्षिप्तं संबाधं रक्ष्यमाणमुदा देह. राक्षसीभिश्च पत्नीभिः रावणस्य निवेशनम्. आयत्ताभिश्च विक्रम्य राजकन्याभिरावृतम्. तन्नक्रमकराकीर्णं किमिङ्गगिरिजक्षाकुलं वायुवेगसमादुतं पन्नगेरिव सागरम्. Hanuman, endowed with invincibility, reached Ravana's residence. After passing along the more famous Raksha houses, Ravana's palace was beset with 4 tusked elephants and 3 tusked ones, preventing anyone from going near, defended by Raksha armed with weapons and occupied by undefined Rakshas. Armed with weapons and occupied by undefined Raksha women and abdicated royal princes, and infested in its moats by crocodiles, big fishes, whales, small fishes, and on account of the rising snakes pushed up by gusty winds, seemed like an ocean. याहि वैश्रपनो श्मीर्या चैन्द्रे हरिवाहने सा रावण ग्रहे सर्वा नित्यमेवानुपायिनी या च राज्ञः कुबेरस्य यमस्य वरुणस्य च तादृशी तद्विशिष्टा वारिधि रक्षो ग्रहेष्वः. On reaching the palace inside the Pushpaka, Hanuman was amazing at its beauty, grandeur, and extent of affluence. Have all the riches of Kubera, the god of boundless wealth, descended here, or the entire prosperity of Mahendra luxurying the pleasures of all the 3 worlds in the company of his spouse Indrani has shifted here? Or is it the very influence of the powerful Garuda Bhagwan has shifted here? Thus it made one doubt whether the Ravana's residence equaled the celebrity, glory and affluence, or probably even excelled those of Garuda, Kubera, Varunas, leaving a stamp, if long-standing and never-ending, benignity of goddess Lakshmi. तस्य हर्मस्य मध्यस्थं वेषं चान्यत् सुनिर्मितं बहुनिर्यूह संकीर्णं ददर्श पवनात्मजः. ब्रह्मणोऽर्थे कृतं दिव्यं दिवि यद् विश्वकर्मणा विमानं पुष्पकं नाम सर्वरत्नविभूषितं परेण तपसा लेभे यत् कुबेरः पितामहात्. कुबेरमोजसा जित्वा लेभे तद्राक्षसेश्वरः. The Pushpaka eons ago was very specially built by Vishwakarma for the creator of the entire universe, the very Brahma. Kubera, through severe penance, pleased him and acquired the Pushpaka from him. Ravana seized it by defeating Kubera with his might in the midst of the palace. Bearing such a history, Maruti saw the mansion of Ravana gorgeously decorated with precious gems and diamonds. Ihamraksamaयुक्तेः कार्तस्वर कीर्मन्मयः सुकृतेराचितं स्तम्भेः प्रदीपत्मिव च श्रेया मेरुमन्दसङ्काशे रुलिखद्भिरिवाम्बरं कुटाघोरशुम्भाकारे सस्वर्तस्य मङ्गलकृतं ज्वलनाक्रप्रतीकाशां सुकृतं विश्वकर्मणा हेमसोपान संयुक्तं चारु प्रववेदिकं जालवातायनैर्युक्तं काञ्चने सस्फाटिकैरपि इन्द्रनीलमहानीलमणिप्रववेदिकं विद्रुमेण विचित्रेण माणिभिश्चमहागणयः निस्तूलाभिष्मुक्ताभिस्तलेनाभिविराजितं चन्दनेन च रक्तेन तम्नीयनिभेन च सुपुण्या गन्धीनां युक्तमादित्यरूपमं कूटागारे वर्राकारे विवृद्धेशस्मङ्गलकृतं विमानं पुष्पकं दिव्यमारुरोहमाकपिः. Climbed up the Pushpaka Vimana in order to search for Sita and saw on the Vimana paintings of pillars depicting animals like the wolf and deer, in seemingly live forms, towers resembling mountains like Meru and Mandaragiri, rising up to the sky and shining propitiously with dazzling rays from towers. Diamond and silver to facilitate access to those towers were the stairs with steps built of gold, a platform built of blue, precious stones like Indranila and Mahanila. Many areas ornamented with pearls and corals, and many other fascinated area in blood red color and smelling pleasantly of perfumed sandal paste, looking like the early morning sun dazzling above the Udaygiri, appearing like the ragging flame of fury zones, and bedazzling Vimana with bounteous beauty. तत्रस्तसस्तथागन्धं पानभक्षे यानसम्भवं दिव्यं समूर्छितं जिग्रदुपवन्तमिवानिलम्. On climbing up the Vimana, Hanuman sensed deeply the fine aroma emanating from the variety of dishes, liquid and other victuals, and pervading the whole of the Vimana. Sagandhastha bandhurmivottamam इत एहि इत्युवाचेन तत्र यत्र स रावणः. Even though the aroma of eatables and liquid filled the whole Vimana, since the food and beverages made for Ravana would be of a more distinguished nature, where he stayed the redolence was more pronounced and distinctive, just like the rare visit of a relative would be welcomed by the other relatives endearingly to their house. It seemed like the perfumery odor permeating around Ravana was luring Hanuman into itself. ततस्तां प्रस्तिष्य शालां ददर्श महतीं शुभां रावणस्य मनः कान्तां कान्तमिव वरस्त्रियं मणिसोपान विकृतां हेमाजलविभूषितां स्फाटिकैरावृततलानां दन्तान्तरितुरूपिकां मुक्ताभिश्च प्रवालैश्च रूप्या चामित्रैरपि विभूषितां मणिस्तम्भे ससुभुः स्तम्भभूषितां नम्रैरजभिरत्ययुचे स्मनतात् सुविभूषिते स्तम्भेः पक्षरिवात्युच्चैर्देवं सम्प्रस्थितामिव महत्या कथ्यास्तीर्णां प्रतिविलक्षणाङ्क्यका प्रतिबिम्बेव विस्तीर्णां सराष्ट्रगृहमालिनीं नादितामन्विहगे दिव्यगन्धादिवासितां परार्धर्यास्तनोपेतां रक्षोद्दीपने सेवितां धूम्रामग्रुधूपेन विमलां हंसपाण्डुरां चित्रां पुष्पहारेण क्लेमिशिव सुप्रभां मनसं समाह्लादजननीं वर्ण्यस्यापि प्रसादिनीं तां शोकवासिनीं दिव्यां श्रेयः संज्ञजननीमिव। Hanuman, who got into Pushpaka in order to search for Sita, saw the pavilion which seemed like a well-adorned and beautiful young lady inviting Ravana for spending a pleasurable time with her. All round the pavilion were stairs and steps studded with diamonds. On all four sides given windows had been provided. There were areas laid with sapatika. Many areas were carved out of ivory. There were erected many pillars made of gold and silver and ornamented with pearls and corals, and many others designed in a unique manner. On all four corners of that big expanse of open area and level ground without undulations were four pillars. That level ground without undulations were four pillars that were studded with diamonds but not strutting out, and uniformly planned. And the Pushpaka loved like a flying bird with its wings and feathers spread out in the sky. The carpets laid on the ground carried paintings that came out alive with mountains and passes, valley and plain grounds, rivers and ponds, trees and forests, towns and villages. All these gave one an impression that inside that pavilion were many kings' places and many states ruled by them. There were many rare birds belonging to exotic species, looking robust with overnourishment and making loud noises. The intermingling fragrance of different perfumers like attar, rose, musk, civet, saffron, and sandal pervaded the whole place, tingling the olfactory nerves pleasantly. In that pavilion, some areas were found dark and due to the burning of incense and sandalwood. The other areas were as pristinely white as swans. The whole mansion was florally decorated with variety of multicolored flowers, with such abundance of embellishment, opulence, and richness. Luxuriance of grandeur and generous benevolence of goddess Lakshmi. The mansion looked like Kamandhenu. On seeing that all griefs would vanish, immeasurable happiness would result, prosperity would enhance. Hanuman was astonished to see such an exceptional pavilion noted for goodness of all kinds and shining in glory, and with the monarch among the Rakshasa, the Ravaneshwara, as its occupant. Indriyani Indriyartestu Pancha Pancha Viruttamehi Tarpayamas Mateva Tada Ravana Palita. On reaching Ravana's mansion, Hanuman listened to the melodious music emanating from theirs. He sensed and enjoyed the gentle cool breeze blowing. Saw many bewitchingly beautiful women. He inhaled the smell of food, sandal, and other sweet smelling perfumes lingering over the place. Thus this place, like the lovingly feeding mother, caressed and satisfied all his five senses with unique sound, sensation of touch, pleasurable sight, and sweet odor. स्वर्गोऽयं देवलोकोऽयं इन्द्रस्येयं पुरी भवेत् सिद्धधैर्वयं पराहि स्यादित्यमन्यत् मारुतिः. Again the Vatamaja, Hanuman, struck by the dignity, majestically and beauty of that mansion, wondered, is it the Swargaloka, the home of bliss, where the spiritually exalted saints and seers lie? Or is this the Devaloka of the countless Devas, or the Amravati city of Devendra, the perpetual worshipper of Lord Shiva, or the Lord of Brahma, attainable only by observing the hard, arduous and strictest austerities in penance, or what is that place? Pratyaya diva pashyat praditpansa tatra kanchanan Durtane Mahadutera Devanen Parajitan. Ahanya stood still, looking at the permanently burning lamps in the golden lamp posters in the place, with pure incense sticks and very steady flames of the oil wicks. The motionless flame is likened to the way some players who have lost in the game of dice and who with keen in the somehow with over the enemies, would more steadily think over the strategy with a singular bent of mind and would remain absolutely still. दीपानां च प्रकाशेन तेजसा रावणस्य च अर्चिर्विभूषणानां च प्रदीपतेत्यभ्यमन्यत. Hanuman contemplated in wonder at the dazzling brilliance of the mansion and doubted, is the place caught in fire? Such was the competent brightness if lamps burning in the mansion generating as much light as the pervading effulgence of the powers of madness acquired by Ravana. The dazzle created by the ornaments made of diamonds and silver and gold worn by the wives of Ravana. Satyat kutasinam nanavarayabrasajam सहस्रं नारीणां नानावेशविभूषितं परिवृत्तेर्रात्रे तु पाननिद्रावशं गतं प्रीत्वोपरतं रात्रौ सुष्वाप बलवत्तदा. In the mansion were several thousands of attracting women in different guises and wearing jewelry made of precious stones. Finally textured were expensive silk attire, garlands made of just blossom and finally fragrant sensuous flowers. They relaxed in amazingly beautiful floor carpets covering love with their beloved Deshmukha, helping each other to drink exotic liquors and a stain of intoxication, talking in a language putting even the stupid sorrows to shyness with sweet words and seductive acts till midnight, rejoicing in enduring words of love, in embrace in playful pranks till their passion satiated and under the influence of liquor slowly slipping into sleep and finally into deep slumber. पदं विरुरुचे निःशब्दान्तर्भूषणम् इह शब्दहंस भ्रमरं यथा पद्मवनं महत्. In the palace of Dakshana, when the women had finished their amorous encounters and the fatigue following went into motionless sleep, the various jewelry like anklets and waistbands which they wore stopped making any noise. The sight of the sleeping women with their fair complexion, feet adorned with their anklets and bright and beautiful faces resembled sonorous results of wasps and bees. Samvradhantani militashini marutihi apshatya padmagandhini vadnani suyoshitam. All the women whom Hanuman in the palace slept with their teeth covered by leaves as tender as of foliage of corals, eyes beautifully covered in the shape of the buds of lotus flowers, and their ravishing faces smelling and pleasantly as the sweet strains from the lotus ponds. Sarashiruhas Buddhadhani Padmani Tasam Bhutva Shapashaye Punasamsaprat Patrani Ratra Vibhavustada. Like the lotus flower which by the gentle touch of rays from the sun opens out its bud, and with the beauty of the blossom and its perfume delights the day, and when the sun sets folds black, those beauties also keep awake throughout daytime, and after enjoying passionate experiences with the husband get fatigued by night and slept with the withered faces. Imani mukpadmani niyatam matshatpadaha Ambujani Fullani Parthayanti Puna Puna Iti Chamanyat Srimanu Papatya Mahakapihi Menehi Gunatatani Samani Salilodbhaveha. Seeing such dimensions in motionless sleep, overcome by fatigue and courtship, and without the least consciousness of their sleeping dresses even, Hanuman noted for preserving his celibacy and his spirit controlled by dharma felt. Since yet the faces of these damsels are similar in softness and fragrance to those of the lotus flowers, the vigorous wasps and bees going to those flowers to suck honey made doubtless wishes to approach these faces also frequently. सातस्य शुशुभे शाला तावी स्त्रीभिः विराजिता शारदी प्रसन्नाद्योस्ताराभिर्विशोभिता. Ravana's pavilion filled with the sleeping women looked like the sky in autumn, remaining clear with the clusters of stars twinkling in it. Sacha tavihi परिव्रज शुशुभे राक्षसादीपः यथा हयूडुपति शशिमांसतारा भिर्भिस्वम्व्रतः. Ravana, sleeping in the midst of those admiring beautiful women, appeared like the moon, shining brightly with seven rays in the midst of the world of stars. याश्चैवन्ते अम्बरा तारा पुण्यशेष समावृताः इमास्तास्ता संगताः कृत्सना इति मेने हरिस्तदा. All seeing the beautiful woman who had been fortunate enough to have the chief of the Rakshas as their husband and enjoy life, Hanuman thought, are they the stars which, consequent of their meritorious deeds, Punya become the stars in the sky, and after the Punya depleted with what little was left of it, fell on the earth as meteorites. तारणामिव सुव्युक्ता महितीनां शुभाचिष्टां प्रभावन् प्रसादाश्च विरेजुस्तत्र योषिताः. The radiance of the smooth, unblemished bodies of the women which Hanuman saw in that place shone significantly like the radiance of big planet dazzling in the Vayavrat Gurupin Srak Prakrina Varabhushanaha Panvyayam Kaleshu Nidra Praharta Chetasah. Accelerated by the excessive consumption of liquid, those beautiful women indulged in singing and dancing and enjoyed the pleasures of courtship and finally got exhausted and tired. Their amorous love making left them with their flower garlands withered and disbanded and their ornaments in disarray, with their spirits low and their faces bereft of freshness, and they seemed inclined for going into sleep. व्याव्रत तिलकाः काचित् दुग्धभ्रन्तृपुराः पाशर्वे गलितहाराश्च काचित् परमयोषितः. For some of the women looked distinctly in their youthful bloom and vigor. The tilak mark on the forehead, drawn with much effort, had smeared up. For some, the anklets slipped away as if not able to bear the strain of courtship. For some others, the long, broad pearl necklace on their chests had slumped and fallen on the sides. Those women gave such appearance of total disarray and untidiness, symbolizing their intense love-making. मुक्ताहारा अव्रताश्चन्याः काचित् विश्रस्तवाससः व्याविद्धर्शनाधामाः किशोर्य इव वाहिताः. The long pearl necklaces of some women were found girding their bodies. The dresses of some had unfastened and slipped. Some others' golden waistbands had slipped loose. Those lost in the pleasures of courtship with their ornaments and dresses loosened and in disarray and forced into sleep. Oblivious of their state, those women looked similar to the herd of horses which had travelled great distances and in order to relieve their bodily pains, falling on the ground and rolling in sandy stretches. सुकुण्डलधराश्च चान्या विच्छिन्नमृदिस्रजः गजेन्द्रमृदिताः फुल्ललता इव महावने. Having been enjoyed by the powerful Ravana with their ornaments loose, their floated garlands withered and their wearied bodies rolling on the floor, the slim damsels resembled luxuriant flowering creepers rampaged by an elephant, tearing off and stamping them into a pulp in a big jungle. चन्द्राशुकिरणाभासहारा कांसचिदुत्कटाः हंसा इव बभुसुस्ताः स्तनमध्येषु योषिताम्. The necklace is made of big spherical pearls gleaming like the sun and the moon. Dangling between the cleavage portions of the breasts of those slim-waisted women were like the swans among the lotus plants in the pleasing lotus ponds. अप्रासां च वैडूर्याः कादम्बा इव पक्षिणः हेमसूत्राणि चान्यासां चक्रवाका इव भवन्. Over the bosom of some of the women, the Veduri necklaces look like the Hamsa birds. On some others' chests are lying thin chains made of gold which resemble the Chakravaka birds. हंसकारण्वाकीर्णाश चक्रवाशोभिताः आपगा इविता रेजुर्जग्नेः पुलिनेरिव. Those women seem comparable to river. Their hips were the sand mounds, the pearl Veduri chain were the anapakshis. The cleavage between the breasts is the chakravaks. The black pupils of eyes, the black lilies, the lips were the pits on the river bed. Their feet were the lotus, their necks and the conches. Their eyes were the fishes, and their navel was like the swirling currents in the river. किङ्किणीजालसङ्कुशास्ता हेमविपुलाम्बुजाः पावग्राः यशस्थिराः सुप्ता नद्य इव बभूव. The wives of Ravana, as they slept, had much similarity to the rivers, with anklets worn in their legs containing the beads resembling flower birds. Their golden ornaments being the just blossomed lotuses, their amorous gestures and dates in their bodies resembling the crocodiles, their shimmering complexion like the shores of the river. मृदङ्गेषु काशाचित्पु चाग्रेषु च संसिताः बुभुर्वर्भूषणावनीव शुभाभूषण राज्यः. In some of the women, the ornaments clung to their lotus of skin and the regions of their breasts, like the repistles forcibly gripping without losing hold. अंशुकान्ताशकासाञ्चि मुखमारुत्कम्पिताः उपरि वक्त्राणां व्याधूयन्ते पुनः पुनः. The corners and edges of the gloves of some women tossed about the pleasure by the exhaled breeze, and their faces and blew on their faces frequently. तापताका इवोद्धूताः पत्नीनां रुचिप्रभाः नानावर्णो सुवर्णार्णा वक्त्रमूलेषु रेजिरे. The fluttering edges of cloths that move and dance against the faces of Ravana's multi-accomplished faithful wives, due to the force of their exhaled breath, looked like waving flags of victory. ववल्गुश्चातकांसाचित्कुण्डलानि शुभार्चिषां मुखमारुत्संसर्गानन् mandam suyoshitaam. In their resting house, the pendant drops worn in the cars by the sleeping shapely graceful women gently swayed hither and thither by the force of their breathing. शर्करास्वगन्धेषु प्रकटया सुरभिसुख तासां वदनी निश्वास सससि शेवे रावणं तदा. The sweetness and fragrances of the liquid which the women had drunk mingled with the sweet odor of their breath and blew over Ravana. रावणान् शङ्काशि चन्द्रावनयोषितः मुखानि स्म स्पत्नीनाम् उपाजिघ्रन् पुनः पुनः. Among the wives of Ravana, some inebriated mood by the sleep mistook the faces of other four wives sleeping near them as belonging to Ravana and kissed the faces repeatedly with passion. अत्यर्थं सक्तमनसो रावणेता परस्त्रियः अस्वतन्त्राः सप्तनीनां प्रियमेवाचरं सस्तदा. Some wives of Ravana, due to intoxication of liquid, deepness of sleep, and immense love towards their beloved Ravana and in a state of semi-consciousness, mistook the faces of the co-mistresses near them as those of Ravana's and kissed them. In turn, those women also mistook the kisses as planted by Ravana and reciprocated with their own osculation. Thus, out the immeasurable love for their husband, they behaved their each other in quite similar manner. बाहुनि फनिधायान्याः पारिहार्य विभूषितान् अंशुकानि च रम्यानि प्रमदास्तत्र शिशिरे. After keeping awake till very late at night and partaking by passionate love acts, they succumbed to sleep without being able to sleep in each other's beds. The women were laying haphazardly among them. Some rested their heads on the ornament arms of others. Some others used their own appurtenances as a support for their heads. अन्या वक्षसि चान्यस्य सत्स्या काचित् पुनर्भुजम् अपरा त्वङ्कमन्यस्य सत्स्या शचाप्यपरा भुजो उरुपार्श्वकटिपृष्ठमन्योन्यस्य समाश्रिताः परस्परनिविष्टाङ्ग्यो मत्स्नेहवशानुगाः अन्योन्यभुजसूत्रे श्रीमाला ग्रथिता हि सा मालेव ग्रथिता सूत्रे शुशुभे मतषट्पदा. The manner in which those women slept, resting their heads on each other's chests, shoulders and laps, with their other parts of the body clinging to each other, like thighs with thighs, sides and sides, waist and waist, teres with teres. Those women who slept deeply with intemperance, friendly to each other, and exhibiting absolute familiarity and compatibility, seemed like flower garlands who their liking for each other as a thread, on which the flowers were strung, the aroma of their bodies' fragrance, and the tresses of their hair as interleaving greens to make the gardens studded with intoxicated honeybees. लतानां माधवे मासी फुललानां वायुसेवनात् अन्योन्यमालाग्रतिं संस्कतु कुसुमोच्चयं व्यतिवेष्टि सुस्कन्दमन्योन्यं ब्रह्मराकुलम् आसीवनमिवोद्धूतं श्रीवनं रावणस्य तत्. The hands are like the creepers, shoulders are the stems, fingers are the branches, the hairs in the arms are the branches of flowers. Tresses of hair are the honeybees feeding from flower exhale breathe in the gentle breeze, with their bodies intertwined to each other like the bouquet of flowers brought upward by the wind. The gathering of women looked like a grove of flowering plants in the month of Aishah. तेष्वपि सुव्युक्तं न तासां योषितां तदा विवेकः शक्य आधातुं भूषणाङ्गाम्बस्रजाम्. With their ornaments, dresses and their parts of the body thrown over each other in sleeping without inhibitions, it was impossible to distinguish each woman's ornament, dresses and garlands clearly. सुख संविष्टे तास्त्रियो विविध प्रभा ज्वलन्तः काञ्चना दीपाः प्रेषयन्ता निमिषा इव. While Ravana slept comfortably after courtship with those beautiful women, the lamps in the golden pillars which glimmered in different colors, with a steady, motionless flame, appeared to be gazing without battling the eyelids at the women who wear their ornaments in disarray and their dresses loosened and bare. राजर्षि पितृदैत्यानां गन्धर्वाणां च योषितः राक्षसानां च याः कन्यास्तस्य कामवशं गताः. Except Sita, the virtuous wife of Sri Raghava, all other damsels, daughters of kings, rishis, mans, devas, daityas, gandharvas and rakshasas abdicated by Ravana had been seduced and enjoyed by him. युद्धकामेन्ता सर्वा रावणेन त्यासि स्त्रियः समदामदनेन मोहिता काश्चित्ता गताः. Most of those women had been forcibly appropriated by Ravana from the harems of his enemies. After defeating them, only some of them had been attracted to the Lanka chief's prowess, wealth and personality and had approached him by themselves. न तत् काचित् प्रमदा प्रसह्य वीर्योपप्लने गुणे लभदा न चाणक्यामापि न चान्यपूर्वा विना वराहारं जनकात्मजातम्. The women there joined him more out of the passion for him and not won over by his might, Except the exalted Sita, the daughter of Janaka, all others were not married to any other man before joining Ravana. They reached him even as virgins. न चाकुलिना न च हीनरूपा नादशकिना नानुपचारयुक्ता भार्या भवतस्य न हीनसत्त्वा न चापि कान्तस्य न कामनीया. The wives of Ravana were all belonging to a distinguished family. All of them had alluring personality, ornamented beauties, perpetually serving Ravana out of fondness towards him. They had adequate physical dimension, measuring up to his embrace and enjoyment. They had the youthful maturity and exceptional charm to tantalize him. बभूव बुद्धिस्तु हरीश्वरस्य यदीदृशी राघवधर्मपत्नी इमायता राक्षसराजभार्याः सुजातमस्येति साधुबुद्धेः. Even though greatly wise, true to the character of the genre, Hanuman spontaneously got the crooked idea that just as Ravana brought all these women even as virgins and married them, if he had faced Sita also before she had been wedded to Sri Raghava, he might have prospered. पुनश्च सो अचिन्तयादात् रूपो ध्रुवं विशिष्टा गुणतो हि सीता आतायमस्यां कृतवान् महात्मा लंकेश्वर कष्टमनार्य कर्म. Subsequently, Hanuman again thought, is not the exalted Sita embodied in the Pativrata Dharma in her character? Certainly, in the matter of this world, venerable Sita, the lofty Ravana had committed a blasphemous act. Alas, laminated Hanuman and started pondering over again. Iti Valmiki Ramayane Adi Kavya Sundarkande Navam Sarga. End of Sargam 9.